The refugees broke. Not in panic, but in exhaustion. They collapsed where they ran, clutching one another, breath ragged, eyes hollow. Soldiers staggered forward on failing legs, armor dented, shields cracked beyond repair. Panglima Lida fell to one knee, blood soaking through her sleeve, the world tilting sideways. Then, the shadows recoiled. Not fled, recoiled. The air tightened, as if the world itself had drawn a sharp breath. King Elian stepped through the veil of smoke and ruin, spear planted, presence absolute. The battlefield stilled around him, not silent, but contained. Lesser horrors shrank back. Shadow forms hesitated, uncertain, like predators sensing a larger one had arrived. Behind him, skyward and tideward reinforcements fanned out with practiced precision, forming a living barrier around the refugees. Lida lifted her head, vision swimming.
Elian.
She tried to speak, to explain, to report. He raised one hand. Just once.
I know,
The king said quietly. Then laughter rolled across the shattered ground. Slow, amused. Valthrix emerged from drifting ash, obsidian skin cracked and glowing faintly, posture relaxed, almost languid. In one clawed hand, he dragged something behind him. He smiled wider when he saw Elian.
You're late.
He let go. The object struck the ground at Elion's feet with a dull, final sound. A helm rolled aside. A soldier whispered, barely audible.
Isn't that the Panglima?
Panglima Arif Surandaya's head lay exposed to the ash-strewn earth. His expression was not twisted in fear, nor frozen in pain, but locked in focus, as if his final thought had been unfinished. The battlefield seemed to lean inward. Valthrix watched Elian closely now. In his other hand, he held the body of Panglima Arif, beaten, bruised, twisted far beyond recognition, limbs bent at wrong angles, armor crushed inward. The body dragged through ash and blood like a discarded toy. Waiting. Valthrix grinned.
He stood very straight.
The apostle said conversationally.
Even after I broke him. Admirable, really. I thought you might want to see.
For a moment, just a moment, Elion did not move. His grip tightened around his spear. Metal creaked. Blood ran down his palm, warm and bright against the haft. Behind him, soldiers tensed. Lida's breath caught. Every instinct screamed for retaliation, for annihilation, for justice. Valthrix tilted his head.
You disappoint me, King of Walls.
He said lightly.
I thought you'd rage. I thought you'd charge.
He flung the headless body forward. It struck the ground before Elian with a heavy, wet thud, rolling once, twice, before coming to rest in the ash, lifeless, broken, stripped of all dignity Valthrix could reach. Elian met his gaze at last, cold, unreadable.
you are not worth what he paid.
He knelt. Carefully, almost reverently, he lifted Panglima Arif's body. No haste, no anger. He turned and placed it into the arms of a nearby soldier, as one would return a fallen standard to its bearer.
This ground is withdrawn.
Elian said, voice level, carrying without effort.
All units fall back. Civilian priority.
Valthrix blinked. Once, then laughed again, sharper this time.
How disappointing.
He murmured. Elian turned his back. He walked away. Each step was measured, controlled. His bleeding hand never loosened from the spear, though his knuckles whitened with restraint. Behind him, soldiers obeyed. Formations shifted. Refugees were lifted and carried. The living withdrew from the dead. Valthrix did not follow. He only watched, eyes burning not with triumph, but with something far more dangerous. Interest. Then the smoke swallowed him. One by one, the shadow hordes dissolved with him, retreating into the fog as if the battlefield itself had exhaled. The perimeter was secured. Refugees were lifted, counted, pressed behind shield lines. Medics moved with grim efficiency. Orders flowed again. Structure returned barely. Only Panglima Lida remained where she had fallen. Elian stood before her silent. She tried to rise. Her legs failed. A hand caught her shoulder, but she shook it off, dragging herself upright on shaking knees. Blood ran freely down her armor, but she did not seem to feel it.
Elian.
Her voice broke on his name. He waited. She swallowed hard. Her eyes were unfocused, fixed on something far away, something still unfolding in her mind.
He didn't fight them.
She said.
Not like enemies.
Elian's grip tightened on his spear.
He played.
Lita whispered.
He broke their lines without touching them. Twisted space.
Turned shields inside out.
Made men strike at shadows that weren't there.
Her breath hitched.
One by one they fell. Not killed, handled, thrown, crushed, bent until they stopped moving.
Her fists clenched, nails biting into her palms.
And Panglima Arif.
Her voice trembled violently.
He stood, even after the line was gone, even after it was just bodies and smoke.
The air felt thinner.
Velthrix kept him alive longer than the rest,
she said.
He wanted us to see.
Elian said nothing.
When the defenders thinned,
Lita continued, tears streaking through soot.
He turned away from the soldiers.
Her shoulders collapsed inward.
He went for the refugees.
Something shifted in Elian's eyes. Deep, volcanic, pure rage, instantly buried.
They started from the back.
Lita whispered.
The slowest. The wounded. The children who couldn't keep up.
Her breathing shattered.
They didn't rush. They hunted, one scream at a time.
She shook her head violently.
The crowd broke. Mothers dropped their children just to keep running. Elders fell and never got back up.
Her voice cracked.
I tried to hold them together. I tried.
Her knees gave out.
I fell,
she whispered.
And I thought, this is it. All the fighting for nothing.
She pressed her forehead to the ground.
I failed them.
Silence swallowed her words. Elian stepped forward. He did not touch her at first.
You did not fail,
he said calmly. She looked up, tears blurring her vision.
You lived.
Elian continued.
And because you lived, they are not all dead.
His hand came down, firm on her shoulder.
Because Panglima Arif chose who would stand and who would run.
Elian said quietly.
There are still people breathing behind us.
Blood dripped steadily from Elian's clenched fist into the ash.
I will remember every word you've said.
He went on.
Every scream. Every name you could not save.
Lita searched his face, desperate.
Then go,
she pleaded.
End him, please.
For a heartbeat, the world held its breath. Elian closed his eyes. Just once. When he opened them again, the fire was still there, contained behind iron will.
I will not trade the sacrifice paid in blood by Arif and his men for my anger.
He turned away. Behind him, Lita wept openly. Ahead of him, the war waited. The last screams had faded. Ash hung heavy in the air, settling on scorched armor and broken shields. Elian walked alone. The refugees were behind shields, being guided to safety by soldiers who still had strength enough to obey orders. Lita had been tended to, but she stayed silent, curled into herself. No one spoke to the king. No one dared. He stopped at the edge of the ruin, where the smoke thinned and the sky above was choked with gray firelight. For a long moment he simply looked. At the scorched earth, at the mangled remnants of the line, at nothing. Then carefully he sank to one knee. The spear remained clutched in his hand, but the hand itself bled. The white-knuckled grip the only proof that he was still standing. No one could see him now. He lowered his forehead to the haft. He allowed himself the tiniest fraction of a release, the kind no king had ever been permitted, and in that quiet he whispered to himself, barely audible.
I will not break. Not here.
He felt it all. The weight of a reef. The weight of every soldier who had stayed. The weight of every life that had been snatched and shredded by an enemy who took cruelty for sport. He closed his eyes. For a heartbeat, he let himself imagine rage unfurling. For a heartbeat, he imagined throwing every ounce of his strength at Velthrix and letting the world burn around him. But even in his thoughts, he restrained it. Because he could not afford it. Because the war had to continue. Because every misstep in fury would erase what Arif had bought with his life. And what the battalion had sacrificed in silence. A quiet sob escaped him, so quiet that no one could hear it. Not soldiers. Not refugees. Not even Lida. He let it pass. The air caught his breath, the ash settled, and he forced himself upright. He looked out at the horizon. The battle was lost, but the war remained. And he, bleeding human, tethered only to discipline, would carry every memory forward, every scream, every fallen warrior, every life that could still be saved. No one saw his quiet breaking. No one would. And that was enough. The pylon's pulse faded. For a breath, the world hesitated. Then the skyward legion was gone. Ash drifted through the air, slow and weightless, like snow that would never melt. Merithiel lowered her blade.
Confirmed.
Vela said, fingers pressed to her focus band.
Clean transit, no echo.
No cheers followed. There was no time. Beyond them, the defense lines were thinner now, banners spaced too far apart, formations broken into stubborn knots, fires burned where companies had stood minutes earlier. The Earthward Legion still held the spine of the field, but even stone cracks. And beyond them, the refugees. Smaller clusters now, fractured streams, fewer children crying, not because they were safe, but because they were too tired. Merithiel's jaw tightened.
This bought us time,
Thorian said quietly. Not hopeful, just factual. Karen traced glowing sigils in the air, her hands moving faster than her breath.
They're adapting,
She said.
Patterns are shifting between jumps.
Merithiel stepped forward.
We don't wait for the third pylon. We stabilize evacuations, gate to gate.
Karen looked up, forcing a grin that didn't quite reach her eyes.
I'll run point. I know which gates are about to collapse.
Vela frowned.
That puts us directly in the shadow flow.
Yes.
Merithiel said simply. They struck the first veil gate like a blade. Each jump cost them breath. Each arrival revealed the same truth. Defenders dying tired, refugees breaking under numbers, shadows learning faster than they should. By the fourth gate, Merithiel felt it settle in her chest like cold iron. They were no longer buying time. They were spending lives. Karen appeared beside her, breath ragged now, the grin gone.
If we do it right,
She said quieter.
we save thousands more before the third pylon.
She hesitated, then added almost to herself.
My sister's still somewhere in that stream.
Merithiel met her gaze and nodded once.
Then we do it right.
Velthric stood amid ruins that should have tasted like triumph. Yet the king had walked away.
I misjudged him.
Velthrix murmured, irritation threading beneath his calm.
I thought him like the others. A king who breaks when the right wound is opened.
One of his shadow generals shifted uneasily, armor whispering like ash dragged across stone. Nyrexa shimmered beside him, her form tar-like and unstable, tendrils rising and sinking as if breathing.
Then stop hunting the herd.
She said smoothly.
Claim the door.
Velthrix's smile returned, slow, thoughtful.
If we hold the gate, they cannot flee.
He turned slightly, eyes narrowing.
They must destroy it themselves.
And if they hesitate,
Nyrexa added, molten eyes gleaming.
we follow them
Her voice lowered.
into the mortal realm.
For the first time, Velthrix's fingers flexed.
Yes,
He said.
that will do.
He lifted his hand. At once, his generals bowed, fear and devotion indistinguishable, as the shadows around them reoriented, flowing with sudden purpose.
Secure a veil gate.
Velthrix commanded.
Not the strongest, not the most defended.
His smile sharpened.
The one they cannot afford to lose.
Merithiel felt it before she saw it. A wrongness in the rhythm of battle. Shadows no longer surged blindly. They flowed sideways, deliberately, allowing passage where resistance should have been fiercest.
They're letting us pass.
Thorian said. A soldier nearby swallowed.
That's not good, is it?
That's worse.
Vela muttered. Karen vanished. When she returned, there was no humor left in her at all.
They're moving on a veil gate,
She said.
occupying it.
The truth slammed into place. A claimed gate. Stable, anchored, shadows spilling through like a wound that refused to close. Karen whispered, voice thin.
That we save the future.
She looked back toward the refugees, huddled and waiting.
Or we save the people right in front of us.
Marithiel did not answer immediately. She stepped forward instead.
The second pylon buys lives.
She said at last.
A claimed gate costs worlds.
A nearby defender clenched his jaw.
My family's still in that line.
Karen nodded slowly.
Someone's going to die.
She said.
No matter what.
Marithiel met her gaze.
I know.
The glow of the second pylon pulsed faintly in the distance. Steady, patient, indifferent to the blood already spilled to reach it. Elsewhere, far beyond sight, a veil gate burned wrong. Marithiel felt it like a splinter beneath the skin. Not fear, not panic, recognition. This was no longer a race against time. It was a negotiation with loss. Around her, the world held its breath. Shadows shifted, no longer rushing, no longer wild. Only waiting. Civilians still moved through the fog in broken lines, unaware that their survival now balanced on a decision yet unspoken. Karen broke the silence at last, voice low.
Whatever we choose, history's going to remember this moment.
Marithiel did not answer. She looked once more toward the pylon, then toward the dark, and for the first time since the fall began, she understood the cruel truth of command. That sometimes the greatest battles are not fought with blades or spells,
but with the choice of which lives you're willing to lose.